I mean, if you don't capture it, did it really happen? Jake, you're about to move.
I am.
Are you moving on up?
Yeah, you can call it up.
Okay. Are you gonna? Here's my big question. Are you gonna rebrand The Office to match the new and improved Jake Sirachman of the Winner's Circle / The Force of Focus / Viral / whatever brand title you guys have landed on? Is it still was it Anatomy?
No.
What band name did you guys land on? We haven't had this conversation for a while.
If I could use no use for a name, I would, but that's already taken. So right now we're just.
What about a little use for a name?
Little use for a name. We could probably, maybe. No, we do not have a name still as yet. But and to answer your question, new things.
Okay.
New home, new office, new look, new vibe.
Good.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I think that in itself, I think sometimes we all get to a point where our common state and natural environment needs to be changed to really lean as far into the new as humanly possible.
It's crazy to think, even though I've had this office set up now just over 2 years, and there's been a lot of work done in here. There's been a lot of companies made. There's been a lot of brands produced. There's been a lot of money made. There's been a lot of faces through this fucking camera. Mm-hmm. It's like when I really sit and think about it in these 2 years, like how much I've honestly accomplished. I mean, shit, you've seen a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And to think, yeah, dude, like you just nailed it. Like moving into a new office and setting everything up. Because we do, like my daughter sleeps in here when she's here over the weekends. So like to be able to have her own room now and have my own office space, it's just, yeah, dude, it's I've never even thought about it until you brought it up. So I'm very excited to think about that and having that new energy, that fresh, where's it? Like a little bit of this. Oh.
Okay. You've got some sage, do you?
Yeah,
do you also rub crystals on your nipples?
No, should I? Is that a thing?
I mean, if you're going to christen a new office, you might as well christen an old nipple.
I've never heard of that. Does it have to be on video?
I mean, if you don't capture it, did it really happen?
Stay tuned. Episode 6. What do you call it? Nipple Kristen?
Yeah. We're just going to let her rip today.
Her nip. Let her nip.
Let her nip. Okay.
Okay, we can stop that one now.
Yeah, on today's
really episode,
I think I really want to tap into what you had brought up earlier. Being done with taking shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I think a lot of people, talking about the last conversation we had about people's expectations, your expectations aren't just projected, but it's also what you accept.
Yeah.
You know?
It ties into the beginning of this conversation about going out of your way to be a nice person. And it's, although there's, how do I say this, Mikey? There's two ways to go about it. Doing nice things for people and being of service and opening the door and saying thank you and generally just being a good person. But then there's, not putting up with shit when you know you're being stepped over or walked on. Because I was always that person where it's like, it's fine. And you keep giving that and you keep giving that. So now I'm at a point to where I can do a lot of the things I ask other people to do for me. And if I'm not being serviced the way I would to them, I'm just simply not going to put up with it. Nor do I need to, because I can do their job just as good, if not better than them. And it took me a long time. This goes back to the whole confidence thing. When I ask somebody to do something, it's not because I can't do it. It's because I generally want to, A, give them more money or give them their business, or B, because I don't have the time to do it. So I expect that same energy that I can put into my clients and my people from that individual or from that company. And when I feel I'm not getting that, I say something now. As before, I wouldn't. I'd let it slide and I'll just go fix it.
Yeah. Well, I think last episode we talked about expectations and standards. Where this one, we're leaning more into the difference between people pleasing and being of service.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you've said on more than one occasion, you were here to serve. You live to serve. But there's a really fine line between just being a people pleaser and being of service. And I think the difference is confidence and ego. Because when you're people pleasing, it fills your ego because, well, I mean, there's a transaction involved. You have an expectation of someone else. If I do these things, I'm eventually going to be able to get whatever. When you're just of service, you do it because you have a level of confidence. Yeah. When you're being people pleasing, you're pouring out of a cup that may not have that much left in it, where when you're being of service, you're pouring, or you're kind of like overflowing out of a cup that you have diligently put a lot of time and attention into to be able to serve people who may not have or may not understand or may just genuinely need.
Yeah. I don't play, you'll hear it a lot, and you probably know who I'm talking about, but there's a lot of people that play dumb to get more out of the individual. I don't play that shit. I'm just dumb. But I don't play dumb to get more out of somebody. I just generally now ask them or have them do it. You know what I mean? I don't play dumb so then they are like, I can do this. It's like, if I need something to somebody, I'm going to ask them. And the way I'll say this is, not that I know everything, but I've learned a whole hell of a lot. I can do a lot of things, and especially a lot of things that people don't know. And I've trained myself to be that way. So if I generally ask you to do something or ask for your business or your service, it's not that I can't do it. It's that, like I said before, it's because I generally need the extra hands, you know? But it goes back to that, like, I never sat on a call, like, let's just say a website guy. I didn't play dumb to make him, feel he was a little bit better than me at building, because I knew I could do what he did, and I could probably do it better in most situations. But the outcome wasn't what I expected or what I needed. So normally a year ago, I would have been like, oh, this is okay. Can we just fix this now? Now it's like, hey, dude, this looks like complete. I don't beat around the bush anymore. Hey, dude, this looks like shit. This isn't what we talked about. These weren't the colors. These weren't the things. And I'm more confident now because I know I could have built what he built. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. Well, that's people pleasing. And I think a lot of people have that acceptance of, like, well, I paid him. This is what I got. So be it. If this is what I got to work with, is what I got to work with. And sometimes, like, well, if you didn't do it, I wouldn't have it. And then they just go about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there always is a really fine line, because, again, on the last episode, we kind of talked about the people who like to complain about things, like, well, they didn't fill my water up fast enough. I asked for medium rare, and this is obviously almost medium. It's those little things.
Is that red? Is that red or pink?
Yeah. Hold on. Like those kind of things where it's nitpicky, and there's these weird expectations, but there's also like a sense of confidence that comes with, you're not being a dick about it, but if you do have a standard that you represent because of who it is you truly are, you need to be able to speak up and not just allow it. Because it's not like people are trying to do you wrong. They may just have had a hard day, and now it's your turn to say that hard day cannot impact my future business or the way that I go about doing my day. I used to be the same way in relationships. An ex of mine, I won't say which one, because I don't know how intense she is on still paying attention to what I'm up to. But I spent a really long time just trying to make her happy and content, no matter how much I had to sacrifice myself and my own ability to put me first. And I'm a firm believer that as a leader, I need to be selfish to be able to be truly selfless. Because if I'm just selfless at all times and I neglect the shit out of myself, then I start becoming a people pleaser unintentionally. Yeah.
It's crazy you said that. Until I got my fitness up to par, it was always, I had to be selfish in my own fitness journey before I can serve others, or I could be of help to those individuals. And until I truly tuned everything out and said, no, my workouts come first, my diet comes first, I'm saying no to that fucking dessert, I'm not drinking that fucking beverage. And I had to tell my kids, hey, I have to do this, this, and this, on this, this, and this. We're not going here, here, or here. And until I got selfish with my own health, I became a lot better in serving others.
Yeah.
and helping them.
Absolutely. Because if you're not putting yourself first, then how do you know the standards to keep once you're good at it? I mean, and if you want to be a coach, if you want to be a mentor, if you just want to lead your family properly, you have to put yourself first, because it's how you're going to show them that you're accountable and that you have follow through. My wife and my son know that I'm predictable, and that's a good thing. My son, 2.5 years old, before we eat food, if he sees food on the table, he puts his hand out to say grace.
Yeah.
That, before he was born, that would have weirded me the fuck out. But now I know that he's paying close enough attention to know that he can always rely on me for these things.
Yeah.
He knows immediately when we get done playing outside, he's got these things to pick up. When I come upstairs from the office, he's upstairs helping Katie pick up when he gets done making like a big pile from this collection of toys. Yeah. My wife knows that I'm predictable in the fact that these are just the things I'm going to do. These are the things that are required of me. But it also works in business. If you want to have a good, I mean, what's really different between having a good relationship with your wife and having a good relationship with your clients, aside from the amount of clothes you're wearing, obviously?
Sure. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. As far as it goes back to the 4 objections in sales: time, money, spouse, commitment. But if you're on a call with somebody and they're pouring their heart out to you and they're saying all the things wrong with them, they're saying how their wife doesn't look at them, they're saying how their kids don't respect them, they're saying how they're not making the money that they need, they're saying that they, X, Y, and Z. And if they just put them fucking selves first and believe in themselves, that objection's out the window, because you have to be fucking selfish before you can be a better husband, a better father, get a fucking raise at your job.
Yep.
Look down and see your dick instead of your belly. You're going to win. And that's why I don't talk sales. I'm not a sales guy, but that right there is how you overcome the objections is, tell them how the fuck it is. Be selfish.
I think in a sense, we can talk sales, because even for us to be able to make the pivots we have, we had to sell ourselves on something. To be able to get to a place that we wanted to get, we had to sell ourselves on something, And I think before I was predictable, I was consistent, and I had follow through. I had to sell people in believing that this is really what I wanted. Like when I had to explain to Katie, like I can't be the guy who does 9 to 5. I can't be the guy who just does enough to get by. It's not because I want more stuff. It's because I'm called to create so much. And if you can accept that, if you believe in me to be able to do that, I promise you, you'll be able to predict.
But you said it right there. You said it right there. You said to believe in me, but you already believed in yourself. And we always say it only takes one person.
Yeah. No,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I mean, you're absolutely right. And eventually you're going to have that come to Jesus moment with yourself before you can have that conversation with your wife. So even in sales, it's not a matter of whether or not your wife will approve it. And if you're waiting for approval from her wife, it means you don't yet believe in you. So you need her to validate you. And there's a likelihood, even in sales, even in life, whether we had that sales conversation or not, you're still going to go ask permission from your wife, not because you need her approval, but because you want her to validate the fact that she supports you, because you don't have the ability to be selfish enough to support yourself.
And that's why I hate that I got to ask my wife. Mm-hmm. And although most of the time it's a real thing and people do respect their partner's decision, but when you already say the things that need to change, it shouldn't be a matter of I've got to ask my wife. It's I need to do this for my wife.
If you already had a life where your wife trusted the decisions that you made, you wouldn't be on this call with us to begin with.
That's it.
That's really what it boils down to. It's our intent for you to be able to trust you, so that if you have a wife, they trust you more. So that if you want more quality clients, they trust you more. So that if you want to get the outcome, you trust it.
It's even worse when they use the excuse, and that's not even a matter. It's not even a thing.
Yeah.
It's just plain sad.
Yep.
That they couldn't make the decisions for themselves after already admitting their flaws and the things they need to work on.
And granted, I I do get it. Like having open lines of communication about finances with your significant other in most cases makes a lot of sense. I know without a doubt, if I walk upstairs right now and I tell Katie I just spent $25,000 for us to go to Cabo and take a private jet to go hang out with Rob Keaton and like fly out there with him, she would say, huh, okay. You know, I mean, partly because she's not going to tell me no, but also because she knows like I've got us. I don't make decisions that will hurt us, but I do take very risky decisions that help excel.
Yeah.
You know, but that comes with trust because she's not blind
Sure.
to how irresponsible I am. She just knows that when I'm irresponsible, it's because I like the last episode, I already thought through the next few steps on why this is going to be beneficial.
That goes back to us being built different now. It's because if it's a high ticket expense or investment, the old ladies by now know we got our heads on straight and we've got a plan of action. It's not we're going to just blow money with strippers and blow. You know what I mean? We have some intent behind our decisions we're about to financially make, you know?
Yep.
But they ain't like us.
Not yet, because the crazy thing is like we were kind of having this conversation last time, or maybe it was a conversation I was having recently, if it wasn't you and I, that a lot of people say, well, the economy. And when that's the case, it's because you're only looking at things from a lateral level.
Yeah.
And it takes trust to be able to look vertically. You know, you eventually get to a point where you're no longer worried about the economy. It may still be happening around you, but like, dude, I've been down to little to no money, but I believed that within the next 90 days, I could make X amount. And because I knew that, inevitably I was going to fucking do it because I had already mapped out the plan of attack. I've taken my credit down to 500 to build a business and build it back up to 870 in a year because I knew if I burned my credit to the ground within that year, my obligation was to build the business on that credit with zero interest. And then someone else built my business for me. And it's risky, but if you have trust in yourself and you know you have follow through, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Anytime somebody says, but the economy, I'm like, drive on down to Orange County and take a little peek into Disneyland. Let me know how the economy's doing. Or hop into that Yard House on a Friday night. Tell me how that economy's doing.
Yeah.
Go sit at a normal bar in any restaurant from here to fucking Vancouver. Tell me how the economy's doing.
Yeah. It's all a narrative and it's a safety net. It's safe. Yeah. It's safe to worry.
Yeah.
You know, and even Katie she's a worrier. You know, I can watch her having tiny little meltdowns because me and my son are absolute fucking feral creatures.
Yeah.
It makes sense to worry. And some people choose to worry about everything. Some people choose to worry about some things. And other people have no fucking care in the world because they already know they're going to figure it the fuck out. And it takes practice to get there. It takes training, it takes trust, and it takes proof of concept. But you can't create proof of concept without, I guess, having that standard built, having that confidence built.
You know what's crazy? I don't think I worry. I definitely can stress from time to time, but I've gotten really comfortable with it. The only time I worry is when I don't have another fucking crazy lunatic idea in the back of my mind to start building.
Yep.
That's when I'm like, okay, I'm not doing enough. And that shifted. And then when we talked about when did your mind shift into that? About 6 months ago, like when I was building so much cool shit out. Now it's like if I'm sitting there and I'm watching Netflix and doing this, I'm like, why am I not building a business plan right now? How am I not creating a brand right now? And then I'm just like, let's go. Yeah. And just clicks. I can't even watch a full episode anymore. I sit down and watch TV, but my brain don't stop. Even last night after our conversation and you gave me a little task, I sat down, I'm like, I can do this, but it would take a couple hours. I've got about an hour before bed. I don't think I could get into that business brand right now, but I'm going to hit it tomorrow.
Yep. You've heard about the red, yellow, green system that I pretty much force people to do.
Yeah.
My public service announcement and my warning label on the side is always, you'll learn to hate your green more than anything, because when you're firing on red and yellow and you learn to love it, sitting down to relax becomes the most anxiety ridden thing in the world, because you already know you've fallen back in love with the things that move your dial. And now all of a sudden you're just sitting comfortably and calmly next to your loved one or trying to do something that takes little to no effort. And you're like, there's so many other things I could be doing now.
It's the only time I absolutely miss commercials, because that could be my fucking doom scroll, fucking chat GPT, talk to the microphone, fucking time. And now it's just like straight on. Or when the credits hit, it's like, got it.
I was so mad. I finally decided I was going to watch a show, and I landed on Daredevil Born Again. Dude, I'm a video game nerd and I love The Punisher. So when I was losing my weight, funny story, when I was losing my weight, because I was like 300 pounds a while ago, right?
Yeah. You said a while ago. A while ago?
Yeah.
Like last week? No, it's been like
close.
4 years, hasn't it?
It's been about 3 or 4 years.
You said a while ago.
So I was like 305, and what I would do is I would literally force feed myself like intense, angry shit. And it was always like, I would watch The Punisher, or I would watch like, fuck, dude. I would watch like shit like Rambo's First Blood, and like that shit inspired me. I would walk on the treadmill for the duration of that fucking movie.
Commando, when he's in the raft about to go kick some ass.
Yep. I love that shit. And if you can't find it in yourself, find something that draws you towards it. You know what I mean? Some people listen to metal for that reason. There's a such thing, like people talk about triggers all the time. And there's also like, there's audible triggers where when people listen to music, it sets a mood for them. People listen to country because they like the idea of sad white dudes in pickup trucks kicking their dogs and drinking domestic beer. People listen to metal because they like the idea of intensity, chaos, and aggression. People listen to hip hop because of culture, because they understand the lyrics for a magnitude of other reasons, the beat, all that shit. But it always sparks something in you depending upon the music you're listening to at that time. Same thing visually. When you watch enough sitcom television, you want to create a life that kind of represents the hilarity of Home Improvement. When you watch a bunch of like rom-coms, that's eventually what it is you're going to be looking for. When you watch dramas, generally I avoid my wife. Like there's I already know there's going to have some sort of conversation I don't want to have.
I'm going to try that out tonight.
I walk up, she's got a Lifetime movie going. It's like, I'm gonna sleep on the couch tonight.
I know exactly what you mean, because it's like there's times where I'll just, and I'm not a big I watch TV at night. It's when I unwind, I do my thing. But there's times where I'll just it's been in like the middle of the day and I just turn on the most raunchy action movie because I just want self fucking destruction. And it's like I'll just like the cheesiest shit too, like not even a good action movie. Just like give it to me. Like I want cars blowing up. I want parachutes and planes crashing, and
But I mean, so again, going back to branding, I remember growing up, and I was kind of an outlier. I didn't dress like a punk kid or a hardcore kid. I just kind of wore clothes that I thought paired ridiculously. But it was a lot of like, we collect data through our lives, and we know that if we're a hardcore kid, this is the way we're just going to act. These are the people we're going to surround ourselves with. These are the cultures and the environments in which we're going to enter. Same with country, same with the lunch table you would sit at, So we already know these things in our head, but it's not something we talk about often. Is we're always collecting data with what we listen to, what we watch, the conversations we have, how we treat other people. This is all data collection and data exchange. And it really does define who we become. But because of that, we also have the opportunity to change all of those things. Listen to something different, watch something different, associate with someone different. They always say you're the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with. What would occur if you surrounded yourself with 5 different people for a quarter? would you yourself walk away from that social circle a different person, or would you start to understand the tonality, the way that they speak? Would you feel like you were more evolved, or at least you gathered a different worldly view? You know, this goes back to the conversation you and I had about when I started learning how to speak a little bit more articulately. It was because I started associating with a different social circle. I started walking in, not just trying to network at the bar, or not just trying to market at the bar, but I was networking in different social circles because there was more value present there. And I had to shut the fuck up and listen for a little while. But that changed my brand just by having that data exchange.
Yeah.
No different than, us going from where you and I had met to the environments in which we entered thereafter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I was kind of giggling going back to that story of like the 5 people, the room.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
different topic.
It does kind of go back to the conversation you and I had about potential partnering and working together and the friendship circle and all that. Is you also realize that when people start to leave a particular environment, when people start to leave a certain group, they start to become a little bit more of their genuine self, as opposed to what it was they were always constantly surrounded by. You know, when you hang out with 5 negative people and all you hear is people talking shit all day long about other people, you're going to leave, go to have another conversation, and you're going to carry that energy with you. When you leave that dynamic for a long enough time, you start to realize you're walking with a little bit more pep in your step, a little bit more energy. Maybe you're a little bit more gracious and grateful. You're opening doors for people all of a sudden because you're not walking around like some fucking asshole in a windbreaker, just treating everybody like shit. You know what I mean? It happens. And that's the person I try to find behind every mask, because I think everyone wears a mask until they feel comfortable in their own skin.